Well, good afternoon. I appreciate your time and you guys coming down here to listen to what I have to show. I want to thank Rob and I want to thank MW Marine for letting me come down here and show my products off and some of the stories I have, some tips I can hopefully help you with, and some product that if you're interested in buying. I have my friend Jason Mathe. He's going to also speak today. He's got some new products coming out called Ghost Tackle. I have my buddy Bobby Marine. He fishes a lot with me. And I have my son, Aaron. He does all my social media stuff. So if you ever see me on TikTok, Facebook, that's all him. I just have to talk and show stuff. All right, we're going to start with the #1 screen here. That's all the links I have in my social media stuff. And you can pay me this, that kind of stuff. That was on Lake Erie. So this is how I started my whole fishing career, 2004. I learned a technique from a guy from Saginaw Bay, Michigan. His name is Mark Wisdella. He uses a flutter spoon, a 5-foot leader, and a worm harness. I started playing with that after he left my house. He used fish as a PWT and all that kind of stuff. So I actually came up with a kit where I combined all this stuff. And I have only 20 kits left, and they're only 13 bucks. You have 19 pieces. With this 19 pieces, you can actually build over 1,000 different lures. It's all interchangeable. So you can go from a worm harness here to a bead assembly, whatever color bead you want. What's nice about the hook assembly, you don't have to waste crawlers. You just unhook this and hook it to a different bead assembly. And I have a schematic. I don't know if that's on here. Next click. Go one more. There it is. So this schematic is in with this kit. So you can actually build your different lures in your boat here. So there's a COOT 1 and a COOT 2. The COOT 1 is the color spoons, and the COOT 2 is the metal finish spoons. The diamond colored spoon and the hammered silver. You get 6 spinner blades, 2 different sizes. You have 5s and 3s. You get 3 hook harnesses. You get 5 bead assemblies, and then you have the 6 different spoons there, all in one little kit. So I sold a lot of these back in 2004 through 2007. Then I came up with the next one. Oh, okay. This is my Uncle Bernie. He's passed away now, but I came out with a Rattling worm harness. At the time, nobody had something out there that made noise with a rattling or with a harness system. And the one guy had a bead chamber on a spinner blade. Well, what happens when the blade spins? Centrifugal force throws the beads to the end. It doesn't make noise. And I kind of confronted him. So I came up with this design here. You want to go to the next one? So I showed Keith Kavai's. He takes 4th place in a tournament using my stuff. I thought, how cool is this? This is how him and I started our relationship. So when the blade actually spins on this wire, it actually rattles that bead in there. So it makes sound because fish are attracted to sound, flash, vibration, and scent. So you got all 4 factors on this system right here. And it's interchangeable. So if a crawler goes bad or if you want to change a different color, you just unhook the hook harness and hook it onto a different one. And at the time, I had 5 colors back then. I do have beads from those. We can sell those if you need beads to build stuff. I like to fish with Keith a lot. He's a good guy. He taught me a lot. He's a super nice guy. Go down to Florida, fish a lot of fish down there with him also. So follow him too. He's good. Okay. You got this on video, Aaron? Okay, click it again. Oh. Is it a double click? So there's the Rattling worm harness in action. I actually built this test tank so I could actually test my lures before I could, go out there and show people on that. And this is what it looks like. So what I found out, to make it more violent sound, you bend the wire so the spinner blade would hit that wire, so tick, 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 and it would make a lot of noise. And like I showed Keith, he did the same thing, and he ended up in 4th place with it, which is really cool. All right, we'll go to the next one. So let's see, that was 2007, 2008. I was back up at Beta Knock with Gary and Keith and all that, and Chase. And we were pulling harnesses. We couldn't catch nothing. And Gary says to me, I was in his boat that day. He says, let's put on some cranks. I said, okay. So we were running 800 series reef runners. I tell him, I said, can I do a little trick for you? I want to try some. So I took my hook harness here, took off the back treble hook off that reef runner, and clipped on the back end with a full crawler. So this bait's like this long. He's kind of looking at me, he said, what the hell is this? I said, well, I use this on shad wraps down Winnebago. He says, okay, put it out there. No more than 10 minutes later, that board goes back. He says, ooh, that's a nice fish. I reel it in, and that's 12 pounds. We caught 6 walleyes for over 60 pounds that day. It was unbelievable. So Gary says, okay, Keith, Coots got a good little secret here. So I hooked up Keith, Gary, and Chase. They all cashed a check, and Gary should have won the tournament on this, but he didn't because he couldn't catch a small fish. He couldn't get the slot size. But so ever since then, these 3 guys always had me in their little niche and all that. It's been a fun time with them and all that. And I said, I'm just here to, help catch fish for you guys, to try a little secrets, and they work. Next one. That's my kit, the schematics and the different colors that we had. Next one. Now this one I came up with in 2008. Tommy Harris, good guy, out of Racine. They call him the Spider-Man. He paints a lot of spinner blades, a lot of flutter spoons and all that. And I showed him my little technique here, what I did, because in 2008 I was also in the NTC tournament out in Mobridge, South Dakota. And a lot of guys pull cranks in the wood timbers out there. And I can't afford to lose that many cranks because I'm not that rich. So I came up with a spoon and slow death hook system. And it was a killer out there. And then I brought it back to Winnebago, Bay, Green Bay. But that color and that other color are my 2 best colors on Bay, Green Bay, and Winnebago. So it's just like a 2-inch, about 15-pound fluorocarbon leader, tied on with the slow death. Does everybody know how to do slow death with the worms and all that? If you give this a try, it is fun. It is fun to do because you don't have to worry about treble hooks or nothing. That fish has got that thing in his mouth. You can get the hook out easy. It's easy to get the fish out of the net because the hooks aren't all in it. Like when I run over to Lake Erie, run bandits, you got 3 treble hooks on this thing. It's a mess in that net trying to get these fish out of there. So he calls it a spoon de ville. So I actually gave him this product and let him run with it. And I didn't get nothing on it except for the rights that I came up with it. All right, next one. So my next invention was the Firefly planer board light. I used to fish with Paul Grawl, the owner of HT. He's passed away now, but I was setting his boat up for Lake Michigan, and we were trolling always at night out there, and there was no good light that I could find out there. The one light we had was, I believe, offshore. I stepped on it, I broke it. I said, okay, there's a $20 shot. I says, I got to come up with something better. Paul says, well, what do you want to do? I said, we need to make something out of plastic. It floats, and it's bright, and the battery lasts forever. So I actually whittled this out of wood. We sent it overseas. They made a mold, and now we have the Firefly. So we have 2 colors. You got port and starboard. So the battery's packed in there like this, up backwards. Do a 180. Plug it in, and just let it run like this. So it just slides up and down on your flagpole if it's all planer boards out there, so it's universal. So that was a good thing. Fleet Farm sells the snot out of these. I can't get them made fast enough. They're all sold out on. I do have replacement bulbs and batteries here. And now we got guys using these on tip-ups at night. Everybody says, well, how long does that battery last? What's the worst thing on batteries? Cold. I threw this in my freezer back in 2015 I started this, yeah. 52 days it lasted on in my freezer. So I said, okay, I got a good battery. So I put on the product 200 hours, so it shouldn't be a problem. So now guys are using it summer and winter, so it's a good product. So that's the Firefly package here with the 2, and then you get the replacement bulb and batteries separately if you ever need those. So everybody says, how come you have this orange thing on your board? I'm a little different in when I troll. I like to trip my boards. And if I could get Bobby to give me a hand here for a second. All right, pull that out. Okay, go. So I have an offshore board, and I have a Churchill mini board. So what happens when I'm trolling, this stainless steel clip is nice and slippery. I pull on the pole when I got the line tight. This pops off, and now this is going to slide all the way down to my leader here. This is how I fish on Winnebago, Bay Green Bay, all anywhere.
Oh, we got that beat.
Yep. So it's simpler for me because Winnebago we have such little fish. It's not like the big lakes. It's easier for if this was the outside board. I pop the board, keep the line tight, and this will come right behind the boat. So what helps here, I use a 5-foot leader all the time, because that way I can interchange from a crank to my hook harness, worm harness system, whatever I got there. But this bead will do 2 things. It keeps the board from sliding down further, and also in the summertime when you got a lot of weeds floating out there, that'll prevent that from sliding down the line. So this is why.
Or if you take your wife on, she reels it all the way up to the bead.
Yeah, that's true too. But that's why I have a board system. So I've made quite a few boards for people like this because they like my technique of snapping the boards, letting it slide down. And normally I don't have flags on my boards out there. I only save it for nighttime. It's less drag in the water for me when I pop the boards and slide them down there. But offshore is a good product. Churchill's a good product, but this is my own technique. HT wanted to copy my system and do it. I said, don't do it. There's 5 board command. You won't make any money. So this is kind of a special thing. I'd have to show you on film. We got that on video. Us snapping one. Okay. We'll have to show you that then. All right, we'll just put this away. All right, what do we got next? Okay, the Firefly, we got that on there. Okay, more Firefly lights. The Rattling Wasp. I've always been taught never criticize another man's work unless you can do it better. So that's why I decided to start making my own products. The crankbait was kind of a copy off, similar to a Selmo. When I came out with this, the guy that owned Selmo called me up and says, you copied my baits. I says, no, I didn't. I says, I made it better. He hung up on me. I made sure if I'm going to copy somebody, it's going to be a little different, eccentric, because then I won't be infringing on him, which I was not. So what I did with my crankbaits, I have a number 4 and a number 5, Rattling Wasp. They had rattles in them. Selmos didn't. Also, when their bait runs, it runs about like this. Mine run a little higher. The idea behind it is when this is hitting bottom, if you're pulling along rocks or something, it hits and it bounces up. It won't get snagged as much. I also put the red hook on the front hook because the fish are more attracted. I learned that from Keith Cavias because anytime he runs two hooks like this, the red one's always in front. It seems like it's an attractive. Then I also had the red eyes. Now, this bait here is called the Sundance. 2 years ago, I came out with this color. Corey from Fishtails in Oshkosh is a hell of a painter. If you ever want crankbaits paint, take it up there. He's really good. So he did this. So what he did for me now, he added crystals on the front. In the last 2 years, this has been a killer bait for me up there. So that one's called the Sundance. Also, people have issues about tuning. Tuning is a kind of an art because when a bait runs one way, you have to tune it the other way. Same with the, you got to go the opposite. So what I designed is this a stupid screwdriver. It's got a slot in it. And what you want to do is put it in the little stainless steel eye there. And you want to tune it back and forth. You don't want to go up and down. A lot of guys will take a pliers and pinch on this thing. That's how you crack your bills. Just push it in there. And being a little bit longer, you're going to have leverage. So you can tune it either way. So you always want to tune to the different opposite of the direction the bait goes. So I came up with this, and people said, they start buying it now. They want my own tuning fork. Okay. What do we got next? Okay, there's a video of my crankbait. See how high the tail end is up at? It's very violent in the water. It makes a lot of noise, a lot of vibrations. That's what you want in a crankbait.
Do you run that with your crawler harness too?
I can, and that's what I told you, that technique where I'll take my hook harness here, I'll take that back treble hook off, and I'll clip on one of these with a full crawler. A year, Erie and I were in the Van Dyne tournament. We caught the 3rd biggest walleye on that thing. It works. You know, everybody looks at it. Hey, it's scent. It's action. That's what the fish are looking for, something different.
Affect its action at all?
Nope, not at all. And that's why I keep pushing that kind of stuff to show people different options and all that. I forgot to say, if you guys have questions, just bring them on, please. I'll answer. Yes.
That light, can you hook that on a rod?
Well, HT does make a system where it clips onto the tip of a rod. They do that a lot in China when they bank fish. But this one is pretty much standard for planer boards, or we have HT tip-ups. They have certain flags that this will fit on. Well, HT just came out with a new spring flag that's lighted. It's really cool. It works great. So they probably won't be using this anymore. But I can give you a little. I designed a new tip-up for HT this year, and they're going to run with it. So my Firefly was going to incorporate with this new tip-up system, so you can actually use it in a fish house, or you can use it on the ice. And it's going to be lighted. It's going to make noise. So I'm kind of excited till they get this thing in production. I wish I didn't really want to bring it down here because I don't want other people seeing this thing. I wanted to get it out on the market first. That was the whole concept. Everybody says, why don't you get patents? 15 grand right off the bat. I said, all you're doing is paying lawyers to fight other lawyers and all that. So I just flood the market with my product. If the people like it, they buy it. I got people already copied a lot of my systems already now, so it's just a pat on the back for me. Question?
Do they come in shell water too?
What do you? Oh yes. Well, I forgot to say, the number 4s 4 to 6 feet casting, and if you go with the number 5, casting is 10 to 12. They're also on the phone app, precision trolling. Keith put that in there for me, so that works good. So the max on the number 5, I think 125 feet will get you down 15 feet. That's the max. Yep, these are all my crankbaits. I have 24 colors, 2 sizes, number 4s, number 5s. Thank you for helping me remember this stuff. Getting old, I gotta write everything down. It's terrible. But like I said, this is a premium color. This one goes for $8. Otherwise, these are all retailing for $6. Today, they're only $5 for you guys. So you can take your choice and see what you want there. I do have a pamphlet with here. Got the dive curve on it also. And if you want to order more, if I don't have enough here, we can do that also. Any other questions? Okay, what's next? Okay, we saw that one. Okay, the Magnetgo. This is another invention I came up with 2 years ago. I always used a clip from an offshore board with a zip tie on my landing net. What happens when people troll, especially when you get one of these, you're way out there. Now the net's going to start going backwards because you're going forward. And that net always seems to find the hooks. So by doing what I just built here, the Magnetgo, it's a magnetic system. It's got Velcro, so it's universal for any landing net out there. And I've sold a lot of these things because everybody says, I just got to have it. You know, even this laying in the boat, it's going to stay in one position. It's not flopping around and all that kind of stuff. So just pull on the bottom there once. It's a 4-pound pull. So what I show people, you want to leave a little basket like this. That's for the littler fish. But when you get a really big fish in, boom, it pops right down. Just like on Lake Erie. So that's the Magnetgo. That's another invention I just came up with.
You got a video coming up, so.
Yep.
Right here. It's about 25 inches.
Yeah. So I just stand at the back of the boat, and you always want to make sure you pull that fish away from the boat because once he gets under that boat, that current is driving him down. If I can get that fish way out to the side, I can just scoop him right up like that. What's the next one? Oh, we're going to see it again. Instant replay. See, I'm putting a motion. I got to pull that rod right out there so I can scoop them up. So this brings me to my last invention. Like I said, I'd never criticize another man's work unless I can do it better. So I told Ken Girl, HT, I said, I want to design my own trolling rod, but I want to do something different that's not been done. It's a little different, unique, and all that. And it's got to be cost effective. I don't want these people to have to pay $100 for a trolling rod. It's just stupid to pull a board out there. So we came up with this. I have a 8-foot and 8'6" telescopic rods. what I did is I shortened the butt up by 3 inches so it doesn't stick out in your boat so far. You want to look for 2 metal bands. I want something strong that's going to hold your reels in place. You want your thumb screw here to go forward. A lot of times they put them up here. What happens, you're always cranking and moving this, it always loosens up on you. So that's why I did the forward thing here. What's really unique is this tri-grip here. It actually conforms right to your hands, and I also have the hook saver. So what I'll do is I'll pass around. These only weigh 5.1 ounces. Just pass around. That's an 8 foot. There's an 8'6". I do have a few of these left. My next shipment probably won't be here till April now, they're telling me, which is not good. So I've been fishing Lake Erie. A lot of the charter captains don't like telescopic rods. They'd rather have a one-piece system. So I came out with a one-piecer exactly just like those 2 rods, but that does not telescope. I have a medium and I have a medium light. I only have one medium light left to sell. These are 40 bucks. But I'm going to pass this one around because there's some people that just don't like telescopic rods. They like the shorter rods because some of these boats won't take a big rod. The 8-foot telescopic collapses down to 6'9". The 8'6" goes to 7'2". Then you have just a 7-foot one piece. No, the 8'6" will be $50. Normally they're going to go $60 this year because of the cost of freight bringing it up. The 8-foot is going to be $45, and that 7-foot right there is $40.
How many do you have with you today?
I have 4 8-footers, and I think 6 of the 8'6" left. And I brought in. What's that?
How fast do they sell?
They sell too fast. I've sold 1,600 pieces in 2 years. I got 1,000 coming right now. I got half of those sold already before they even hit land. I don't know. People just love these rods. Like I said, I'm trying to make it price affordable for people to buy my stuff. I want people to have fun to go fishing with. Yeah, the 8-foot goes down to 7'2". Then the 8'6" will go down to 7'2".
8 foot and 6'9".
Yes. Yep. And I think I only have 4 of those left.
Go back, Jason.
Go back one. Oh, there you go. So I have a unique boat wrap. It's like my color here. I like my green and flames and all this kind of stuff. This was on Lake Erie for the Fall Brawl 2020. So I try to always have fun. So we brought a skeleton out there for Halloween and all that kind of stuff. This is my rod god, I call it. This is a tree holder that sits on my front pedestal area. You can actually use the seat up front there, you can see. So I troll with 8 boards. And if I have 4 people in a boat, I'll run 12 rods. I'll run 2 dead sticks on each side of the boat. And most of those are going to be the 8-footers. And I'll run the Killzone. We'll have the next slide on that one. Between 2 and 3 ounce Killzone weights, pulling cranks or harnesses depending on what I'm pulling that day. I will pull cranks and harnesses at the same time. Change it up. Never know what the fish want. They always tell you what they want. So you got to figure out from there. But I get a lot of looks at that rod god because it looks like a big praying mantis coming at you out there. Okay, Michael Schultz. He could not make it today. He has a back issue right now. He can't walk too well. So I told him I would try to represent him as much as I could. So the Killzone is a 3-way knotless rig system. I got a pole set up for it. But it's just 2 pieces of plastic here. So what you got to do, we'll pop this off. Now it's adjustable. It slides up and down on your line wherever you want to put it. And when you got to put it together, there's a little slot in here. You push it onto the line like this and you hear the snap. It's hooked in there. So these are 5 in a package. They're $5 retail. Otherwise they're $6. But I use this on slow death, 3-way crankbaits, and pulling flies. So this is what it looks like when I'm pulling my slow death. Here's my little trick I did very well in the tournament. My wife took second place up there. A slow death hook, a red bead, and that's a metal propeller. That killed a lot of walleyes in the river in Oshkosh with pulling slow death. So I'm banging the bottom like this, and this is back here. That's pretty much what happens. Most of the fish are on the river and that, but I'll let you look at this system here. Yeah, here you can. Yep.
So is that slow death rig mostly for crawler then?
Yes, mostly crawler. And it's, you thread the worm on there. You go about a half inch past the collar of the crawler. You cut with my fingernail the rest of the crawler out and throw it away. And then you'll leave a little tail there so it just nubs. I guess a little secret I should tell you too is when you push that crawler head onto the hook, you want to go past the eye of the hook. And there's a little tag I leave on my 1/4 inch tag on my line when I cut the line off. I want that crawler head off of that. It seems to make it propeller better. That's what you want to do, is have this thing corkscrewing through the water. Chase Parsons, I think he took first place in South Dakota doing this that 1 year out there. Slow death is fun. I'd rather pull that than cranks any day.
So does the plastic compress the line? Or
Yes, it doesn't compress it. It actually, there's a loop. Here, I might as well just pass this around. So you'll see a groove on that barrel there, and that's what pushes the line through, so it doesn't actually kink it or nothing like that. It just makes a round bend, which is good. Mike is out of Marinette, Wisconsin. He's got like 40 grand invested in this stuff with all the molds he had to build and all that kind of stuff. It's made in Marinette, Wisconsin, so it's all USA. He's a Coast Guard veteran, super nice guy. He really wanted to be down here. I'm actually taking him out to Lake Erie this year, but I says, if your back is that bad, I can't have you in a boat walking around like this.
those little blades in front of that with the bead?
Yep.
You sell those little blades?
No, I don't have that. You can go to
Okay.
Netcraft, and I think they're the 3/4 inch brass. I like the gold. I've tried silver. I've tried chartreuse. It seems like the gold works better on Winnebago for me.
Okay.
But it's just a little,
Little,
that little X will flash.
little
That's all.
vibration.
That's all it takes. Yep. Oh, here. This is the Killzone on Lake Erie, pulling a crankbait, and this is one of my dead sticks off the back end. And see, this is what happens when you get the fish behind the boat. You don't want that, but I managed to get them for them. So over there, it's like fishing in a barrel. It's just unbelievable. If you ever guys have, yes, sir.
Quick question about your rods. Are they all the same action? And the
Yes,
same
all
shape?
medium, all medium. Yep.
Okay.
Once you start going into different actions, it's hard to differentiate them all. And like the 7-foot medium, and I have medium light. This is a medium light right now, and that's why the charter captains, I always try to stay in contact with these guys, see what they. I always give the customer what they try to want. So that's why I came out with the medium lights. I'm not, yeah, good. I'm not much of a medium light guy. I like a little stiffness to my rod, but for this trolling, when that fish does a lunge, that's nice. It has a little bit of whip to it then. So this rod right here, makes my crankbaits. This is a 7'4" medium action Vexan rod for walleyes. This is my all-around rod. I love it. They're not cheap. He sells them for like $120, $130 retail, but it's an awesome rod for what I do. I jig with it. I shiver with it. I pull flies. I pull slow death with it. Like I said, I'm a Fireline guy. I love Fireline, but when I troll, I use mono. So this is 12-pound. This is actually Suffolk's yellow. Getting older, it's easier for me to see this yellow out towards my board versus other lines. Then for my leader here, I'll use a 15-pound fluorocarbon. Why do you say heavier than the other main line? Because this is what's going to get all scuffed up. You know, the fish will actually sometimes might scar. It'll last a lot longer than the other stuff. But
these rods don't say what they're made of, are you? Is it a graphite?
yep, graphite. Same with mine.
Okay.
You don't find too many graphite trolling rods like mine. That's why it's so lightweight, and they hold up. So, well, here I'll go ahead and pull on that cord there. Just hold it. Hang on to her. I'm going to pull. Yeah. You know, she's got a lot of bend to it when you want to set the hooker or just drag a fish in or wait. So, okay. I forgot to mention, this is number 8 bead that I use up here. Plenty big enough. Number 8. What was that now?
Jason loves using the Killzone.
Oh, yeah. You just got turned on to this a couple of years ago, right?
This past year in Marinette.
Okay, Marinette, he was using it up there too. Okay. Any other questions? We'll move on here. Yep.
You have braid coming to it, then you have fluoro or mono here.
Nope, that where the leader is with the hook, that's the only fluorocarbon on there. The rest is all braid. I should say Firefly.
Okay.
So that actually slides up and down wherever I want it. That's what's nice about the Killzone. It's adjustable.
And that can slide over.
Yeah, it goes right through there. Well,
We don't.
But this line is different than this one.
You've got a leader on.
oh, do I? I wonder why you did that. That must be something I had set up last year. I was trying something different. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, you're right.
So normally you run.
Normally it's the main line that you want it on.
Okay.
That's what it is, yeah.
And that's braid.
I use Fireline, yeah. Fireline is not a braid, it's a continuous filament, which I like. Sometimes I've heard the braid has got a corkscrew to it, and when they first came out, it was actually putting lines in the guides. Like, holy God, why would you want to use a line that's going to ruin your rod? That's why I stick with the Fireline. But I like the flame green. Like I say, I can see it better for me. I'm a sight guy watching that kind of stuff. So.
And it doesn't slip through that teeth.
Oh, and that's 10-pound 10-4 they call it. So it's 10-pound but 4-pound diameter.
You ever use nano film?
I've never used that yet. No. Is that something for mostly ice fishing, nano, or is it just a lot thinner?
A lot thinner.
Yeah.
There's no stretch.
No, I've never used that stuff yet. I'm kind of like what works, and I stay with what works, and sometimes I don't change too much in lines. I'm kind of particular on the lines. It's always working for me, but I should not say I don't look outside the box because everything I built has been out of the box. So good point. All right, there's my boat. Okay, question?
I just, before you go further, want to run back to the spoon that you showed earlier. How do you run that?
The Flutter spoon system? So there's a schematic. So there's 2 different size Flutter spoons in here. You got the bigger one, which is 3 1/4, then I have the other one that's 2 3/4. So you want to tie up the end right here. This one goes to the main line, and the fat part right here will be the slow death, or one of my hook harnesses that's in the kit here. So you just clip that right onto there then.
Yeah, what kind of weight system do you put in front of that?
Well, you can either use inline weights or snap weights.
All right.
I was just at the show yesterday in Madison. I picked up the new one that's called the Snake Bite. It's a clip-on system now. It's a little different than offshore. I kind of like it. You just pull on it, it pulls off instead of actually squeezing the damn thing. So I will be using that over in Lake Erie in 6 weeks. So.
All right, and a lot of line twist with that? Or no?
Nope. Anytime I pull anything that I pull here, it's always going to have a barrel swivel on it somewhere. You always got to have a barrel swivel on it. Now my bottom one on the trolling rod, that's just got a number 1 snap for clipping on crankbaits. But when you go up the leader, that's going to have a barrel swivel on it. Then on the main line from the pole, that will also have a snap swivel on it. So I got 2 barrel swivels already, so there shouldn't be any twisting on anything going on there. Yes, sir.
So you said 3 could cut your line guides.
I think they've improved it now, but that's when they first came out because they did a spiral thing to it to make it more strong.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Never do that.
yeah, well, like I say, I've stuck with Fireline pretty much all my
Firefly
life.
doesn't have that.
No, it's a continuous filament when they make it, so it's kind of neat. But you
I
got
use Power Pro. I was just wondering.
yeah, Power Pro's still good. And one of those things, if you pull on it hard enough, I hope you got gloves on or something on because that'll cut your finger right off. I've already had grooves in my fingers and that.
So check my guys.
Yeah, check your guides to make sure. Any other questions? Okay.
Adventures.
Okay, I guess we're going to talk about some of my adventures, I guess, now. All right, what do we got here? Well, this is down with Keith Cavias. These are Amberjacks. Last March we was down there, and one day we got into these fish. We were using 1 ounce hair jigs, just casting out and popping them like this. We're in 50 feet of water. It doesn't get down 10 feet, and you got a fish on. 52 amberjack I caught that day, and I had to go home and do drugs. My arms and wrists hurt so bad from hanging onto these fish. We can't keep them because they're out of season. I guess they're really good eating. There's Keith and me and Neil. Neil's from Colorado. He wants to go pro, but I told him, I said, you better have at least 20 to 30 grand because it costs a lot of money to fish the NWT. So he still does the amateur side. He has a lot of fun. He actually took 8th place in the championship this year, so he did good. So I do a lot of fishing on Lake Michigan with my buddy here, Mark Wickman. He has just one more charter. This was a rainbow that we caught. That's okay. Rainbow we caught. It was 28 pounds. It was just a massive. We've never seen a rainbow. It took us like a half an hour to get the thing in there. And you can see how dead calm it was. So that was a good day. This was Lake Erie with my son. It was last April. We had a great time out there. We fished for a week and we only had 1/2 a day that we had wind. So it was pretty nice. I'm actually going back to this place April 16th through April 23rd. And then I leave that place and I go to another house. So I'm actually fishing 6 weeks in Lake Erie this year. So I'm going to have a lot of fun. There's my son with his big personal best walleye in Lake Erie. You can see the islands behind us there. We're off of Kelly's Island. You can actually see the ferry crossing right there. That was on the Killzone. Okay.
How big is that thing?
That was 28. Yeah. Then occasionally you'll get a steelhead or a smallie out there with a.
That's my first smallmouth bass ever.
So.
5 pounds?
We didn't even measure it because
Yeah.
the rule is if you catch different species on Lake Erie, you get to go next turn. So we had another walleye on right after it, and that's when I caught. So within 2 minutes, I had both those big fish. So we didn't even measure the smallmouth because the board went so fast back.
Yeah. I think he even jumped out of the water for you too. Jeez. So these are the bandits I was using. These were the top colors I used last year. These are pretty much standard colors. I do have Corey at Fishtails. He's going to paint me some special color crankbaits for over there, so we're going to try that. That muskie was on Poigan last year with a friend of mine. First time I got to take him out, and he catches this muskie. He didn't want to hold it up. I said, okay, well, I guess I got to hold it up. So this was our Sheboygan Walleye Club I belonged to. We took 4th place that day. And the day before, this is the story, the day before we fished Van Dyne tournament, he says, I want to go jig and slip bobber. What? I said, we're trollers. You want to go waste your time on a reef? He said, I want to try that. Okay, so I plunked his ass on Long Point Reef. We sat there all day. We went through, how many crawlers? It was how? No, more than that. We caught our 5 fish, but we ended up in like 85th place out of 140 some boats. I said, okay, next day, this is Sheboygan Walleye Club. There's 45 boats. We're going to troll. So we ended up trolling, and we ended up taking 4th place. We thought we won it because we had this 23 1/4, and the day before, it only took 10 pounds to win it. We had over 12 already. I said, oh, we should have this. We come back. We ended up in 4th place. The guys that won it actually had a 28-incher. Then they went upriver, I guess, and they caught it on a harness. So Aaron gets the fish with me in the Sheboygan Walleye Club. Next. There's the muskie. So I'm getting more involved with the kid thing now with Mercury up there. So I'm looking forward to this. This is Fish Quest. You get to take out a kid and a parent. This poor little guy, I take him on Long Point to jig to catch some walleyes with him. And I'm watching him, and he doesn't look right. I says, are you sick? He says, well, I don't feel so. I said, well, if you're sick, we're going to go in because I don't want to make you have a bad feeling out here because being seasick is not fun. So I took him in the river. I made him catch a couple walleyes there. He says, I want to go in now. I said, okay. So I took him in there. And he got his picture taken with some stuff. But it's a great thing. These kids get unbelievable stuff. I want to be a kid again. that much stuff they get, like, wow. So that'll be in August. These are two guys I met off the internet. They pretty much headhunted me because they came to Winnebago to fish the NTC, the Cabela's tournament. And Rusty on the right, he says, yeah, I saw your article in the Badger Sportsman. I just want to pick your brain on that. I said, you can pick all the way. I'll tell you everything I can know and help you out and all that. So on their way up there, it was a Wednesday. He says, where's a place to stay in Fremont? Well, there's no place to really stay in Fremont. I said, why don't you just come to my house? Never met this guy. He says, come to my house. We'll set you up and all that kind of stuff. So he pretty much ended up staying at my house for the tournament. First day of the tournament, he backs his boat down. Transmission goes out on his truck. Okay, this is not good. So I said, okay, I got an extra truck. I says, we'll hook your boat on there and just use it and all that. So I actually let him take my truck and his boat back to Indiana. He came back 2 weeks later as I had a friend fix the transmission for him. So we've been good friends ever since then. So I told him this year, I says, you qualify for the Mobridge Cabela's tournament. I want you to use my boat and my truck. We'll go out there and we'll pre-fish because I got some spots we can probably do good in this tournament. So in August, I'm going out there to fish with these guys. And they promote me like crazy. They got their whole club buying all my rods, it's just been a good marriage. It's been nice to have people like this. He says, I would have never met a guy like you doing this. This is just awesome, he says. Next. So last year, Sean Wendt of Wendt's Marina says, hey, they got small town parade going on in Van Dyne. You want to come and bring your boat? Okay, I guess so. He says, well, the theme is jungle theme. So, okay, so my wife's getting this is the same day as a parade. We're getting this all ready, getting the boat decorated. We had my rod god dressed up as a big palm tree. We got a big gorilla sitting in one of the driver's seats. And we're all dressed up in safari stuff. We got the the Lion Sleeps Tonight song going on. We end up winning the damn parade. So that was kind of fun. So, okay. Yep. So this was hot last year. Guy loves using my Rattling Wasp up in the Bay, Green Bay. He'd run 50 feet out. This was a number 5, blue streak. Then he ran another 25 with a 2 ounce. He's only in 25 feet of water. I said, you're dragging that in the mud. He says, I don't know, but it's working. He says, holy God. So we go up there and we try it. We're catching fish. So that day Aaron had off. I said, let's go to Winnebago and try the same thing, but just do different numbers to get in the mud. Sure shit. 5 minutes later, we had one like that, dragging it in the mud. This Winnebago, you can go this deep of mud or you can go this deep of mud, depending on where you're on that lake. It's unbelievable how thick that stuff is down there. So
after we posted those photos, TRS was sold out that afternoon.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So I got my nightlight here. That's what I love using. These are from HT. These are $15. I got 5 or 6 left here. Rob bought a bunch of them. He just loves them. This light is really good. Keith Cavias loves it for deer hunting and fishing and that. It's a rechargeable flashlight that has a USB cord. So most cars have USBs now. I says, hey, this is the best thing for your car because now you got a mini flashlight. You can also have a flashlight on your, and it's all the flashing mode for emergency and that. But I do have some of those. Like I say, even in the ice house today or this year, Aaron and I we left it on the purple mode. Anything fluorescent just glows like crazy. It's really cool. So I do have some of those.
How long does the charge last?
4 hours, and it takes about a half an hour to charge.
Okay.
But if you leave them in your car all the time plugged in, you're all ready to go. You know, it's a quick, easy little system. I've been selling a lot of these things. It's pretty nice. So this was down at Kettle Moraine. I'm also a assistant coach for the Appleton North High School fishing team. So we had this guy join us with my son, kind of showing off our HD products and all that. And I did the Battle on Bagel this year, and I kind of bummed out that I shouldn't have done it because my team actually won state tournament this year over in Petenville. So I was pretty proud of those 12 kids to go over in that brutal conditions what they had to fish over there. So I told the head coach, he's a good friend of mine, he's a cop up in Appleton, he's retiring this year. I says, next year I will go there to help you guys out because one of our coaches, they use the Fish Donkey app where you take a picture of the fish and you send it by your phone and all that. Well, one of the coaches screwed up 22 inches. and they were disqualified in those inches, but they still won. I went, oh man, I guess we can't have that. They didn't realize that the mouth was not shut on some of these pictures, so I don't know if the guy didn't have his cheater glasses on to see what he was taking pictures of, but we will try to correct that for next year. And there they are. I bought them. I personally bought them all a tip-up. Well, that's the Predator tip-up from HT, and they used them over there, and they just love the tip-ups. So that's cool. All right, here's my rig here. You can see that outside there. Last year, I was with Keith Cavias up in Lake of the Woods. First time, brand new UTV, less than 6 months old. I said, I'm not going up there if it's not safe ice. He said, no, it'll be safe. Okay. So we fished for like 3-4 days, and the last day we're out on the Lake of the Woods, and it's starting to get really windy. It's getting dark, and my shelter is blowing all over the place. I says, Keith, I'm going to head in, so I let him know. Well, I get going. I'm watching my track line. Somehow I veered off, so I kind of stopped to see where I'm going because it's getting dark, and the wind's blowing like crazy, the snow. I see 2 guys sitting over that way, so I start heading that way, and all of a sudden I stopped again. Felt the right front brake in. I thought, oh shit. Threw the door open. The time I got out of it, the back of my UTV was on my back pulling me down. So I try to stress to these people, if you buy an UTV, they can be a coffin. If you don't have a way out of there, a second way or something, or know about your equipment, you're going to die. So what I'm going to try to do this year, I'm going to take that back glass one out and put plexiglass in with Velcro. So if I do go down, I can actually push this window out to get out. Because these things are going to go head first, and there's going to be air trapped in there. So you can push the window right out then. I'm a retired firefighter. I've done a lot of water rescues, a lot of ice rescues. So everybody says, well, weren't you scared? I said, no, I was just mad because my wife's going to make really bad because she lost her brand new UTV. But I kind of ended up with getting a new one, and this one had heat. I like heat now. Don't ever buy one without heat. Factory heat is the best thing you could have for these things.
So what happens when you go down, you can't get the door open? Is that what happens?
No, I actually, when it broke right, it was going this way, so I could actually had a way to push the door open.
Oh, you did.
And I have soft doors and hard doors. I'll use soft doors because the windows can zip. I actually had the window unzip, but it can stay in place. So if the door did get jammed, I could bail out that way. And the only problem with the hard doors, you got electric windows. Well, they don't go up and down real fast, so you can't work on that. Then they have only 2 fingers to get the door open. Well, to me, that ain't going to work because you've got big gloves on if you don't have it really hot in there, you know. So that's a couple other things. But Keith uses a snowmobile, which is a lot safer because you can scoot over stuff quicker. He's got a Bearcat, Artie Cat, nice little sled. But you get cold on there, you're going to bundle up. And I'm starting to be a creature of habit. I'd rather be warm than freezing my butt off wearing all the stuff he has to wear. So, all right, what we got next? This is some of our sturgeon spearing, ice fishing here. I made, since I'm on TikTok, I did a little video of our sturgeon spearing with the new chairs I built. I'm like, people commenting, and they want dimensions, how to build these and all that. You get to sit over like this over the hole all the time. Saves your back instead of sitting in these kind of chairs. It gets old sitting on these chairs. All right, what do we got? Nice sunset picture there. Or was that sunrise? Sunrise, yeah. Winnebago. A lot of, yeah, now we're coming out with COOT'S apparel, so I'll have hoodies, short sleeves, and long sleeves. They'll be coming shortly here. Next. That's pretty much all my stuff that I designed. DPI is a classmate of mine, good friend. He does all my printing and wraps that I need. Next one. And there's my thank yous. To my wife especially for letting me do what I do here, having a good time with that. And Aaron does all the social media for me. And his nickname is Bacon. And there you go. I will be coming to Grandpa for the first time in June, thanks to Aaron. So we'll have a little cooter coming. All right. I think, yeah, next one is going to be Jason, right? Next. Click. There he is. So this is Jason Mathe. He's got some, okay, yep.
Attachment to your crankbaits, what are you running on the front? Just a pin or?
It's a number one, where's my trolling rod? Where did I put that? It's just a number 1 snap.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's all. I don't use a barrel swivel down there, but I have a, yeah.
This is service, man. Yeah, okay.
And there's the rest of the stuff up top then.
Yeah. And that doesn't kill the action, it keeps it pretty wide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just so. That's all Keith uses is a snap like that. Like I said, the barrel swivel up here and the snap swivel, it keeps it from twisting or anything like that. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to let Jason take over here. Yeah. Go get him, buddy. Okay.
So you can test them
We
out.
got to mic you up.
Oh, mic'd up.
There we go. Jason's a little bit quiet.
Just a little bit. I'm going to pass these around. So you take that. That's one of the versions, right? Shake this. You can barely hear it. Shake it to activate it. It's patented new technology that's coming out with these rattles. So each one of these will come basically flat. You have to shake them, and that'll activate the rattle in them. There, test them out.
So once it's activated, it doesn't have to be reactivated?
If it sits for, say, like a winter or a period of time, it'll settle, and you're going to have to reshake that back up. Obviously, these ones I just assembled. These ones I made sure I let sit for a while. That row. And that. So, if it's cold, they will settle faster. But the harder you shake it, the more it'll stir it up and more it will rattle. Sometimes it's really hard. Hit it on your hand and then keep shaking it. So I started this little project out over a year ago. I don't know if anybody here has seen fish on their graphs and they just won't bite. Well, Lake Winnebago this year was a huge problem. Too much forage and they wouldn't take the baits. So I designed this rattle that will go on to virtually anything. I made them into harnesses for now. I put them on crankbaits 6 feet before them, like between a bead and your leader. So when that's spinning around down there, making noise, zips past a walleye sitting on bottom. It's not active, catches that walleye's attention. So 6 feet later, your crankbait comes by. You're creating a reaction bite, an instinctive bite. I got more fish that way this year than I can even count. I won more tournaments than I can count this year just because of this. So, I'll pass these ones around too. You guys can take a look.
Well, I won't be using this system on even in 6 weeks.
I'll just pass these around. Just take a look at them. They also... Yep, you could take it on, off, interchange them. I got 10 different color patterns. These are rigged up for harnesses for summer. I have 4 more designs coming. Just like this, different shape, same material, all that. I got a spinnerbait coming, and all that stuff. But I figured out how to get a bite when they would not bite. So with COOT'S rattles, I just added a little more technology, if you will. I actually have to activate these rattles to produce that certain sound. I think I went through 33 different types of material before I figured it out. Here's some sample colors that have produced the best. In that one video I had up on for the Killzone, because I like to run these in the Killzone over the side. That perch color's been pretty good. What else do I have? So if you notice on a couple of those ones, they have blades on them, and then some that don't. So I'm getting vibration and I'm getting flash off of the rattle, and I'm getting noise. So you're putting your crawler on it, you're getting food scent as well. Yeah.
How fast do you have to go to activate the spinning on the rattle?
You can go as low as 0.2 to running with crankbaits. The myth, you can't run crankbaits in harnesses. You guys hear about that before? Or is that just me? A lot of guys refuse. You got to pick either crankbaits or harnesses. Well, I kind of debunked that this year. I was running up on the bay, going 2-1, 2-2 with these on one side and cranks on the other. We were getting fish on both. So it didn't really matter. Because of what I have in here, the gravity within a spherical object, which would be 0, I added a chemical compound that changes that equation. So it will continue to rotate and produce sound no matter what speed you're running. That's why it's also coming out on a spinnerbait. Guys like to retrieve those fairly quickly. So, like I said, this is like the first design I ever came up with. I got 5 more coming confirmed. And this all started in a storage unit with a 3D printer. So that was my secret to success this year, and now it's finally coming, onto the market after this long of testing. I am teaming up with Vexan for this project. But one of my other favorite ways to use this, if you put them on boards, troll. I also like the Killzone right over the side as your dead sticks. I caught more fish this year doing that than putting them out on boards up on the bay. I had my buddies calling me, asking me what I was doing differently because I kept landing fish and their boards weren't going back. And I have some video of it. I don't think it's on here, but I just smashed them. It was a pretty good day up there. These are retailing at $5. These are retailing at $2.50 right now. And I have a ton of them if you guys are interested. What else was I going to touch on? Oh, that's my white bass in Battle on Bagel. That was fun.
How big was that?
I think that was 16 inches. That was a big white bass. That's what I was targeting for Battle on Bagel. And like COOT'S said, I used to fish against him. I started out in a 14-foot duck boat, fishing local tournaments, like bar tournaments. No electronics, not a clue. And we just kept working our way up, and I kept watching him, seeing what he was doing. And now look where we're at. So, yeah. And we both come up with new stuff. And we kind of bounce ideas and whatnot off each other. The spinnerbait, I think, is going to be a game changer along with these harnesses.
Yeah, I can't wait to get that on Erie to see how it works and performs.
hopefully put bigger fish in the boat.
I had one guy test it out on Erie, and it was very, very well. We proved its effectiveness on triggering a strike. We were running big, like musky or northern spoons, something on a wall I shouldn't be touching, up on the bay. And we were running these 6 foot in front of that spoon, and we were getting just massive walleyes. And they were triggering. It was a reaction bite. If you can get that instinctive bite, you're going to land more fish. And, well, hopefully win more tournaments. At least that's a goal for me this year.
Always try to look for an edge. Something a little different, tweaking something else. Like he's talking about, just that little difference might do it for you. Who knows?
Yep. Subtle little differences will make you or break you. And if you can find the right one, you're going to be successful. So this is my little thing, my project that I have been working on for months, morning till night, trying to perfect it. And I believe I finally have done it, and it's finally going into mass production. And you guys want to come take a look at the colors? I can pass them around. I got a bunch of colors I came out with that proved to me that they worked.
If you have any other questions for us, I guess this is pretty much our little seminar here. And if you want to look and buy some of the products here, I do have one ice drill left that's an 8-inch E-arm. I do have a sample, you can look at it. Put it all in the box there. Those my famous Mickey Mouse boots everybody wants to see them.
I want them.
I wear them for ice fishing all the time. Warmest boots out there. So,